are listening to Conversations with the Citizen.
This is Conversations with the Citizen. I'm your host, Tia Carol Jones. I'm here today with Joseph Williams, who is a candidate for the Illinois State Representative for the 6th District.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you guys for having me today.
Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Joseph Williams. I'm a husband, father to 6 beautiful children, and I'm also the executive director of a nonprofit called the Mr. Dad's Fathers Club. And on the elected official side, I'm currently serving as the district councilman for the 7th District Police Department. So I got my hands full. I do a few things. A little bit more about me, I'll say, is that I recently graduated at Chicago State University just last year in criminal justice. I got my bachelor's and went back to school. I thought that was something really amazing. But just loving doing the work and doing the community work. Even on my way here today, I had the opportunity to stop at an event called Black Dads Rock by Principal Woods over at Donahue, which brought out maybe a little bit over 100 fathers today. And I thought that was an amazing event. What a great way to recognize and let fathers know that they matter and that they can know and that you care about them. And I thought that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You had all the men, Lamont Robinson there, entrepreneur Early Walker, a lot of great leaders in the room speaking to these fathers and putting life into them and just motivating them and let them know how great they can be, and with them we all come together, how amazing it could be. So it was a really great event. And now I'm here with you guys, another amazing audience here.
So, as you said, you're the executive director of Mr. Dad's Fathers Club and a member of the Chicago Police Department District Councils. With all that, why do you want to run for the Illinois legislature?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll say this, I've impacted thousands, right, with little to no resources at all. And even while I'm doing this work, when I decided to run for state representative, I said, what does that look like if we're able to do so much now and with a lack of resources? What does that look like now when we can put the resources behind us? We can really expand the horizon for so many folks in our community, for our aldermen who can receive state funding to do the work they need to do, for organizations and businesses, really putting the groundwork in and saying, how can we come back and support our community in a better way? And I think folks in today's time, they're tired of politics. They're tired of politicians, right? And folks want to know that they can count on somebody. And I believe I'm that person that they can count on. I believe my work has showed through the education realm, from serving on LSCs and PACs, Beasley Academic Center. We went down there and fought with parents to get a multi-million-dollar playground built in the back of Beasley when they had nothing but dirt. Being on the district councilman, when you see a house that's been up for 20 plus years, where they sold drugs and it's been abandoned, falling apart, and just 30 days within my term, that house is torn down for me working with our aldermen and other elected officials. Or even a car, 3 cars on 61st and Green, where kids couldn't play next door to their home anymore, and being able to work with the police department and other folks to get those cars ticketed and towed in 24 hours. So we're doing the work through our organization, helping get fathers involved. We're building a base of 150 dads, but now hiring 13 dads now to go into 15 schools where they're in these schools mentoring and providing literacy to children. So we're hiring, we're in the community, we're doing giveaways. We just held a giveaway this Saturday where we gave away over 1,000 coats. We did diapers, wipes, and brand new baby wear. So we're out here in the community. So when we talk about why run, we run it because we want to be able to support our communities on a bigger level. And it ain't just talking about Inglewood. We're talking about this community has Inglewood. You got a little piece of Alma Square. You got Bridgeport, Canaryville. This Inglewood, this district goes all the way to the north side. I have 9 wards in this district. So when I'm looking at it, I'm also thinking about the 34th ward for those folks who had a homeless population there, but now it's unsafe because it's increased, and now they're doing drugs under the viaduct. How can those folks get to work with their children and everything else they need to do and do it safely? So you have to represent the entire district. And I've learned so much while in the race, but never knew I had City Hall and all of these historic buildings in my district. Like, I don't know how we haven't connected children from Inglewood and children from all these different areas and connected that together so they can have these type of experiences. And that's why I'm so glad I have the organization. But again, I believe we'll be able to expand those resources at a level that no one's ever seen it, and I think we can give that hope back to the community, let them know that someone's here to actually serve them.
So how would you bring your skills and experiences from your previous roles and translate them to become an effective leader in Springfield?
Yeah. Another great question. So I think through experience, we realized for sure we need accountability there. And I think for me to hold myself accountable, something that I want to do once elected as next state representative, making sure that I have a board in place that represents different members throughout the community, no matter if it's our youth, our seniors, however that looks, but making sure that there's another voice there to hold me accountable, because I know I won't be able to be everywhere. I'll be lying to myself to think I can get out here and do the same thing I'll be doing again. I'm going to be in Springfield back and forth trying to make sure that I get things done for the community, but in order to do that, I have to do that with the people's voice. And in order to do that, I need to make sure they're organized and that they have committees in place in each one of my wards to make sure that they're bringing me their concerns. So then when I don't do it, they can vote me back out, or they can hold me at least accountable to say, hey, he has done nothing that he said, and we're giving him the things that he needs to do. So I think putting accountability measures in place, and then also when we're talking about that experience, going to Springfield and fighting for them not to close schools, going to Springfield and fighting for funding to support our organization and things like that, making sure that we're on the front line of everything that you can think of. When we're talking about teen trends, that's experience that when I go down there and you got kids that are supposedly going to mess up some things downtown, but then you go down there and say you don't know what you're going to do, but you want to go help, and you get in the middle of 700 plus children, 300 of them that listens to you, and you're able to walk them out of harm's way, and then you go down there and you break up fights and you make sure nobody gets hurt and damaged properties. And even doing these type of things, we realize that it takes all of us to do it together. It takes the church members, the organizations, the violence prevention groups. We put plans in place where children did just in their first encounter wasn't just the police officers. We provided that support help, and we all worked together. And out of every day we had the opportunity to go down and be in support, nobody got hurt. And those are the type of things we got. We got to have somebody who have a boots on the ground experience, an educational experience. You got to be a versatile person. We can't just come in and think we just gonna work on one issue, because in this district we got many different issues. So I believe I bring that experience when we're talking again about the education piece, as far as being involved on local school councils, being the first serving on a local school council advisory board to implement a health and safety subcommittee. It never existed. Harold Washington had this idea. He brought all of this LSC stuff about, and then you get on there, and believe me, they fought me on it. They fought me. I got that vote passed by one vote. And this young lady was coming in off a plane and hurry up and jumped on the car with us so she can give us the vote. And we were able to implement that, but that brought transparency within CPS. We now, as parents and folks, we don't have to just listen no more and then have questions in our mind. We brought you Dr. R. Waters in and different folks, and we went back and forth with questions. We got answers right then and there. So those were the type of things that I was building and was able to work with other people to do. And I think the experience can just keep going on, even as a father and community leader, being able to represent families and how families should come together to support their children. How our parents need the support help for us, education and job training skills and everything else to even be good parents and leaders in their community. So we're all about growth and development. And the only way that happens is with us, but also with us having those resources. And I think with my experience, I can bring those resources.
What are some pressing issues in the 6th district that you believe should be addressed in Springfield?
Yeah. So this one I got a note for, but this one, like many of the districts around the state, violence is the most overland symptom of a more nuanced issue of poverty. Years as we talked about disinvestment in certain neighborhoods across the district. Even when we talk about how we can look at what the north side looks like and we compare it to what the south side looks like, and how they neither all look the same. We deserve to have good trees and benches in the park, and we deserve to have just that same type of quality of air and everything else. And how do we invest more into our children's education with making sure our schools have what they need for our babies to be successful, and that we're not having lead in the water and all those type of things. One point I think is something that's really important for me is make sure that we end sub minimum wage for tip workers at a state level. Because many of my constituents in the district, they are service workers. They got service worker jobs. And I think any legislation that we would provide job training and placement in high paying roles while also addressing the trauma in our communities, I'll be in full support. And those are some of the issues that we talk about that we know is there from the poverty, but looking at all of this as a more holistic approach of how we address homelessness, violence, the experiences happening when we're talking about officers having someone with them when they get certain calls, when we're talking about some of these closed schools, reimagining what it looks like when we open them up and turn them into mental health facilities or community centers where other organizations are working together in these schools. There's a ton of opportunity. And but those are some of the issues. But with those issues, I think we have opportunity to build on that and really help folks out.
How would you ensure necessary resources are allocated throughout the entire 6th district?
Yeah, and so that in particular, I plan to work directly with my elected officials that represents my district. And when I say that, I mentioned a little earlier, a lot of our aldermen, they get about 1.3, maybe 1.4 in that menu money to do some things in the community. And when you get about 2 alleys and a sidewalk or something done, that money's gone. And we want to make sure that we're working with our aldermen to see what are their needs in the community, so then we can actually provide them with state funding to help them address those needs. And it's not just the aldermen, it's the committeemen, it's whoever represents or has a space in the 6th district and you're an elected official. We need to be sitting at the table with you to see how we can engage and make that better. Even if it's water reclamation, they got a portion of that district and they serve at some point. How do we make sure we got clean water? What do we need to do on the state level to make sure you can do your job? But the ultimate goal is making sure that we're working together with all elected officials. I can't just have one friend in this work. I got to make sure we got a lot of friends, and more than anything, we got to make sure that people are always put first. When you put people in front of things, it's a different outcome. You know, I'll give a quick example. I ran for alderman a few years ago now, about 4 or more years ago. And I ran for alderman against Lopez in the 15th Ward. And I can tell you to this day, when it comes to people, I can go to him and say, hey, I need a stop sign because they are blowing through this street here and kids are unsafe. And he can sit with me and work with me to help me get a stop sign put up. People wouldn't think that it happened because, hey, you just ran against this guy and this happened. No, you got to put people in front of things. And if you're serving people, you got to be able to work with anybody, no matter who they are.
Where can people go to find out more about you and your campaign?
Yeah. So it's everywhere. You can definitely have a website. Our website is called joefor6district.com. That's JOEFOR district.com. You can learn about our platform. You can donate. We need you to donate. If you support our campaign, please get out and donate. But you can follow us on our website at joefor6district.com. You can follow us on any social media platforms at Joseph Williams for State Representative of 6th District, and it'll lead you to the Instagram, it'll lead you to the Facebook, to something where you can see and track some of the things that we're out here doing.
Okay. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like our audience to know?
Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Early election starts this Monday, March 4th, and it goes all the way until March 18th, and obviously election day is March 19th. And I want you guys to be educated voters. Get out and learn about the candidates that you're supporting. Don't let a piece of mail tell you how to vote. Don't let because a person is a part of a party, Democrat or Republican, tell you how to vote. Vote for what's going to best fit your need and what you need in your community. And that's what I want folks to really know is get out and do what's going to work for you. Not because they're your friend, but do what's going to work for you and your family. Because we're talking about generations that's on the line in every election, but specifically in this election, this matters, and we need to get folks out to vote. So I'm excited about the election that we're running. We're running a clean and fair election. We're involving people and family and everybody a part of this election, and I just want folks to get engaged. If you want to come out and volunteer, you're welcome, but more than anything, get out and vote and exercise that right.
Okay, great,
Yes.
great.
It's not the key.
Kids?
Your new place. Your new place.
Oh, yes. I will also say this. In the nonprofit sector, we've been blessed with the opportunity to not only build a lot of great relationships and invest into our fathers and children, but just yesterday, we got the keys to our first facility where we have our own office now. We'll be able to run programming out of it, train fathers in it. We can do some reading book days and read books, and I'm setting it up now. And it's going to be a beautiful space, and I'm just so excited because God is honestly working. And with that opportunity to have office space, we've also hired a program manager, an outreach manager, and recently hired a social media and marketing person so they can come in and ramp up our services and really be able to respond to the needs of folks how we need to. And I feel blessed because when you start a nonprofit, sometimes you're by yourself. And I've been doing this work for a little bit over 5 years now. With just myself, family, and friends who've helped support us. But now we've actually ramped up to have actual workers, people who coming in to help you out. And we feel extremely blessed. We plan to do possibly a grand opening in April for our office space, and I'm excited about it. So, yes.
Great. And where is it located?
It's going to be located at 32 East 69th Street.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
great.
it's right off the damn ride.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us.
Well, thank you guys again for having me today.
Remember to make plans to join us again next week.